first things first, what went into the number change?
I wore number 2 in high school. I couldn't get it last year, obviously, but it opened up and I wanted it, so I tried to get it.
From spring, just going into fall camp, just kind of what was your emphasis on this offseason to get better at?
Just come complete player, you know what I mean, a better person too. But mainly as far as like my athletic ability, just becoming more faster, more explosive. Not necessarily gaining weight, but putting on more muscle, you know what I mean, to pick up protections and blocks, to run more physical. So just becoming a better athlete, really.
Golish told us that a word to describe you is maturity. How do you think that you have matured on and off the field this offseason?
Taking it one day at a time. You know, people could get lost in results, really. So I just try to take each day at a time, try to get better, focus on the little things, and just let my work show.
What excites you most about this Heupel and Golish offense?
We're gonna play fast. We're gonna run the ball a lot. It's a lot of vertical running, So it gives me a chance to get downhill and get to show my skill set also.
Heupel talked at SEC Media Days about the misnomer that this offense doesn't really run the ball, or it's not that balanced. Do you disagree with that, along with your coach?
Yeah, we're gonna have to run the ball. It's the SEC. You gotta have a balanced attack, or even if you do run the ball, they gotta respect the run. So to get the passing game going, we gotta run the ball efficiently. It's gonna take all 11 on the field, but we're gonna have to run the ball.
Is there more of an emphasis on you all as a pass catcher out of the backfield in this offense compared to the last one?
I didn't play like a lot last year, but as far as the spring, I've been putting the slot way more, just showcasing my skill set. I feel like I'm a natural pass catcher. I can run routes and get out in the slot, create mismatches. So he gives us an opportunity to go do that. So I feel like we did a lot this spring. We're gonna continue to do that during the season.
Coaches are pretty optimistic about you coming out of spring and even today. Were you aware of that? Have they passed that along to you? How good they feel about how you've been so far?
Yeah, I just try to do my part. I try not to. I try to block a lot of the outside noise out. Just focus on the things I can control. Just be the best person I can be and lead my running back room and my team as well.
You feel like you have to be a leader, even though this is only, you've only been on campus for a little more than a year. You feel like you kind of have to be a leader with just how young you guys are right now?
Yeah, just across the board, everybody got to step up. It's kind of like a new team, you know what I mean? We got to do something different from last year. We want to win now, so everybody's got to change the way we think, the way we practice, the way we do the little things. So I feel like that's a big emphasis on everybody.
Are you more of a vocal guy, or are you sort of a lead by example, set the tone?
I'm not very vocal. I'm trying to change that, but I'm definitely like a lead by example type of guy.
You've got a family full of wide receivers, right? How did you end up as a running back?
I'm 5'9". My dad, my uncles, my dad's like 6'1", my uncle's like 6'2". They're from Florida, they're fast, they can jump. So they kind of grew into that. But me, I naturally play running back. I was always the shifty, short type of guy. You know what I mean? I could catch like my dad. My uncles, they also taught me how to run routes, catch, all that type of stuff. So.
Your offense at Briarcrest, was it more similar to this year or last year?
It was kind of more similar to this year. Last year was more so a pro style set type of offense. This year it's definitely it's the same from high school, but this is fast paced. Like we're going.
When did you realize that the similarities? Once they got here and installed it, or did you already know once they got hired?
When they installed it, but like basically everybody in the country runs inside zone. Like it's still the same thing. It's just zone. Protections, they're kind of different, but for the most part, it's just inside zone, outside zone. Regular football. It's the same.
Jabari, at the end of last season, you were looking at Ty Chandler and Eric Gray ahead of you as running backs. Were you surprised when they both left, both transferred?
Definitely, but you know what I mean. I can't control that. Those are my big brothers. I love them to death. I still talk to them today, but I can't control that. I definitely learned a lot from them last year, but it's part of the game. So.
What was it about Tennessee that made you want to stay here and the tradition here?
Everything. The fans, media. I love Tennessee. You know what I mean. But I'm just happy to be a part of this.
Kind of an outside-the-box question for you. I don't know how closely you keep up with the NBA, but point guard from Murray State, he talked about Cameron Payne talked about he had a resurgence this year and talked about going back to Memphis and kind of finding that Memphis in him, that grit and grind. How much, I know that's basketball, but how much do you take kind of that grit and grind and kind of implement it into your game as a runner?
It's definitely natural just growing up in Memphis. You know what I mean? Everybody's, they're hardship workers. You know, they work for everything they get. Memphis it's really a basketball city. Football has become a good hotbed for recruiting in football like in the past 5 years. So anything from Memphis, you got to work for everything you get. So going back to Memphis probably was a good thing for him. I saw he did pretty good in the finals, in the playoffs.
Is there a guy in that running back room alongside you that's kind of impressed you since the spring?
All of them, you know, all the running backs, they have a great mindset because it starts with what you do off the field. You know what I mean? You got to create great habits, you know, great practice habits. So all of them, you know what I mean? I'm looking forward to everybody stepping up to the challenge. You know what I mean? It's gonna take all 9 of us in that room to build and make this team better.
What are some of those habits as a leader of this unit that you're looking for every practice, every game?
Making sure you complete every rep. You know what I mean? You give your all on every rep. You know what I mean? It's the little things like not missing meetings, being on time for things, hydration tests, like the small things. You know what I mean? Most people don't look at, but it makes the biggest difference.
When Eric and Ty left, did you have a moment where you're like, I'm going to be probably one of the guys? I mean, because there were 2 guys ahead of you. Did you kind of have a moment where you're like, okay, I'm going to be like the top guy now?
Definitely. I mean, you know, those were the 2 leading rushers last year. You know what I mean? Obviously, I got to do something different, step up, change the way I act. I'm not a little kid anymore. You know what I mean? I had to grow up pretty fast. But I feel like it helped me kind of just mature. And like, well, somebody got to step up, and I wanted to be me. So it definitely changed the way I thought about it.
I know you guys always kind of have a sense of urgency playing a program like this, kind of have to have it, but did it even go up even more when you kind of realized that you weren't the kid anymore, you were the guy?
Yeah, it did. A lot, actually. Like I said, I learned a lot from those guys, and just having that, I don't know what to do in this play. Eric was there to help me, or Ty was there to help me. Now I got to help the other players as well as they got to help me too, but it's got to be a combination of us all helping each other. So it's definitely different.
Does it surprise you any to see D at 6'5" kind of run the way that he does?
Yeah, he's a freak. He's athletically, he's gifted. D, he's a great player. You know what I mean? I applaud him every day on how he works and how he stays disciplined. You know what I mean? We are trying to become more consistent because we're young, so we got to be more consistent.
What's been the biggest learning curve for you so far? Maybe it happened in spring. Maybe you're still kind of learning about this offense. What's been the biggest curve for you?
Offensively wise, just ball and belly, getting into a protection. It's kind of different, you know what I mean? Or I'm used to, or I'm accustomed to just point to the blitzer or who having protection, and just going to him. Now it's just like a ball and belly. We got to get to him then. So that's the only different part, but it's football still.
How would you assess where you all are as a group in terms of pass protection?
We made that a big emphasis this whole spring, summer. We more so focus on that than a lot of other things. You know what I mean? That's one thing we're gonna make sure we're gonna try to be the best at. We're gonna be ready come first game of the season.
Who would you say is the best in pass protection right now of the group?
In the spring, I don't know. We'll have to see. You have to see.
You talked about this offense sort of inside zone being kind of the same everywhere. What is different about this offense that opens up the run game so much?
If you kind of take a look at our offense and just peep, our receivers are split out very wide. So it kind of helps us in protections too, because with the safety rotations, like you could disguise it easily. Oh, he's over there, he's over there. But it also just stretches the defense out. It's more vertical seams. You know what I mean? And they have to respect both elements, the pass and the run. So that's what helps the runs out. Like the receivers, their splits are very wide.